What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Reagan Darrell, and this week is going to be a little funky. The show is already posting late. I have been out of town on vacation, and I'm coming back in to a house in the middle of a renovation, so I cannot find my microphone. I cannot find my mic stand. Things are packed up in pods and storage and garages and all this stuff. So I'm actually using a PS5 headset to come in here and do this opening part, so I do apologize for the sound quality. I'll do my best in post to make it not sound like trash. But I wanted to come in here and give you guys a few updates. I'm going to patch in the trophy rarity update from Gareth. Appreciate you so much, bud, for doing this each and every week. I know it takes a ton of time. And give you guys an update on the GTTSC event that myself, Gareth, and Red Beard Rick are all a part of on Team Loot Bros. Also, other community members are a part of it as well. So definitely really having a good time here. But first, I want to give a nice, beautiful toast. Now, a lot of these things that I'm going to say and do, you may hear a little bit later in the episode. A handful of the guys, Matt G, Kalai, Zach, and Crawdaddy Thomas Crawford all got together and they did record an episode. So I'm going to put all of this stuff in the front so you guys can listen to them, sit back and talk about games that came out that overpromised and under-delivered. So, but first, I want to give a shout out to our patrons. I want to give a shout out to My Name is Effing Mayo. I want to give a shout out to MZ Nitro. I want to give a shout out to Sadik and to Matt G. Now, Matt G, I have not, as of the time of recording this, I haven't listened to the episode yet to know what you pledged for me to play, to how you're going to torture me. So, with that being said, I'm just going to let it ride, and we'll see. And once I render all this out and everything, I'll listen to it and see what business you have for me. So here we go. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do real fast, I'm going to jump in here and talk about the GTTSC event that we're all participating in, and I'm going to jump into some of the items I've been playing at the same time because they do coincide together. So the GTTSC is the Great True Trophy Score Competition. I would say it happens annually, but it seems like the last time we did this was almost a year and a half ago, maybe a year and 3/4 ago. So it's not quite an annual event hosted by the True Trophies website, but it is an amazing trophy hunting event. They do have an achievement hunting event for the True Achievements side or whatever. And it's super fun. And you have teams of 3 or you have solo events that you can enter in. And each week, the goal is to get trophies, but not just trophies, to get trophies that have a true trophy score. Let's say the true trophy score is 20 points, but the actual trophy worth, the value given based on Sony PlayStation is only 15 points. Well, the difference of the two is 5 points. Therefore, your score for achieving that trophy is 5 points. Now, they come up with their own scores based on rarity on their website. So you can't just spam and get a whole bunch of 15-point bronzes or even, golds and silvers that are worth more points, because if they're not rare, they're not worth any more than what Sony gives them. And so it really forces you away from the spam and into bigger, longer, more rare games, or to do things that maybe not every person who's played the game has done. So it's really cool. The scores are populated based on the difference, and it's a lot of fun. And each week they give individual bonuses and they give group bonuses. So these bonuses, maybe it's like right now, it's get 20 trophies in a builder game. Now, builder game could be Minecraft, it could be Lego game, it could be whatever. Last week, one of the bonuses was to spell out the words Happy Easter Hunters with the first letter of each trophy, spelling out that phrase. And that one was kind of tough for me because I was in the mountains for the week. We're at the top of the mountains. We did have some internet, albeit it wasn't great. We did have internet there. It was a really, really, really nice cabin, way nicer than it should have been. And it had everything we needed in there. So I did bring a PS3. I did bring a Vita or two and a stack of games. And so I was able to kind of jump around and actually put points on the board. And granted, it wasn't great week for me because we spent a lot of time hiking, a lot of time in the jacuzzi. We spent a lot of time going checking waterfalls and things of that nature, riding around the different mountain towns and exploring. But when I was able to play games, I was actually able to sync my stuff with no issue and everything was cool. But when I was looking at the actual games and the items I had, in the time that I had, it was really difficult to knock that one out. And as a matter of fact, I did have to kind of pull out the old spam to finish up when I got home late Sunday night, right before the cutoff. I think about 11 o'clock that night, I was able to knock out the last few letters I needed. But these bonuses you can use at any given time up until a certain cutoff point. So if you fall below the threshold to be eliminated, well, let's say the threshold is all positions 230 and below, and you're at 230, which is exactly where I was at right beforehand. I could use one of these bonuses that's the equivalent of 500 points, and it threw myself up where I wouldn't be eliminated, and I could survive another week. So it's a very, very cool thing. And then, of course, the same rules apply for the teams, and you get team bonuses, and it's a team objective. So it's like last week was collectibles, like 30 collectible trophies amongst your team or something like that. And it was really cool because the team's corresponding and working together, saying, "Oh, I got this, I got these," and it gives you a place to focus your attention, and you divide and conquer and knock stuff out. So I really, really, really enjoy this event, and I highly encourage anybody in the group that's a collector, a trophy hunter at all, to join in next time to the GTTSC. And what I'll be doing is dropping updates each and every week here on the podcast, so you guys kind of know what's going on. So Team Loot Bros for the win. All right, so next up, what I want to do is I just kind of want to drop a handful of games that I have played throughout this time, just kind of give you guys an update on what I've been doing and how I am still single-handedly supporting the Vita more than most people ever did in its heyday, even if it ever had a Prime. So a lot of my time was spent on the PS Vita, and a lot of the trophies that I popped were from PS Vita. So I 100% Thomas Was Alone. Thomas Was Alone is a little platformer. I believe it's made by Mike Bithell. And you're a bunch of little blocks, and it's kind of artsy fartsy. And when you, at first glance, it's like, this is kind of whatever. Don't know that I honestly this is going to jive with me. But the game is actually really, really good. It's very well voice acted. It's a cute little game. Each little block actually represents a different person with different characteristics, and it's telling a story, and it's narrated well. It's very, very good. I didn't expect to like it at all, and I know that I like it, but I quite enjoyed it. And the platformer is really good. It's not overly complicated, and the platforming puzzles are not super long. So it's one of those games to where, had it got any more difficult or done any of the stereotypical things that some of these games do, where it's like, oh, we're going to make you really think outside the box, I would have gotten frustrated and probably not finished it. But I did finish Thomas Was Alone because it never got too difficult, and it didn't get in its own way. It was like, this is a cute little platformer. You're going to do a few things. You're going to have new skills, new abilities, new characters come across, and it was good. I quite enjoyed it. So next up, the next 100% I got was another game in the puzzle genre. It's called Doodle God. So Doodle God is essentially a match-based game. You have different elements, and you have to mix and match the elements to create new elements. So, for example, you have earth, air, fire, and water. You mix them up. They come out with something, then you can spawn humanity out of it. Then you mix humanity with the life element, and then that turns into a thing. It's very, very interesting. It is a tile-based game where you have some tiles on the left, tiles on the right, and you can just kind of click and drag them over. And it's not a bad little game. It's obviously a mobile game that just fit really well on the Vita. And the trophies are fair. They're not overly complicated. I mean, there's a ton of solutions you have to come up with, but it was a fun little game. And there's several in the series: Doodle God, Doodle Devil, and Doodle Kingdom. I 100% Doodle God. I 100% Doodle Devil. And I'm working my way now through Doodle Kingdom. Doodle Kingdom kind of gets a little more complicated because it adds an endless runner kind of aspect to it, and it's just time consuming. Like it's just long. You have to do 30 bosses. You have to do 20,000 meters and ran in the game, which takes forever. And it's not a bad little game, but these are prime examples of great mobile games that were ported to the Vita with trophy support that really worked. They were bite size, somewhat mindless. Like when you're thinking about them, you're really thinking, but then realistically, like you can put it in rest mode and walk away, and then come back 5 days later, and it's like okay, you didn't miss anything. So these lend themselves really well to the handheld. So I very much enjoyed it. Another thing I worked on was Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. I had 11 out of 35 trophies in this game. It's just a ton of old Sega Genesis ports all on one compilation disc for the PS3. Picked it up in the wild for like $1, and I'm having an absolute blast. So you get one trophy essentially for playing all, and there's not even a trophy for every game, but for most of the games. And there's probably 30 something games on there. And so what I did was I sat down with my kids and I just showed them, look at these old Sega games. And we just kind of played through some of them, played through some of the old Sonics. Some of them you have to beat the game. Some of them you have to do, well, actually, maybe you don't have to beat the game in any of them. I think maybe it's like, there's just certain objectives you have to do, certain things you have to collect, certain things you have to, a certain amount of kills, magic, things like that, whatever. Like just there's a bunch of different stuff. But like essentially, I played some of these games to completion. Like we just had a good time playing through some of the old Sega games, and I quite enjoyed it. Saving the Gauntlet games for later because the Gauntlet games I'm going to play to completion. I really, really love those games, and my kids and I will play those together. So next up, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, still one of the greatest wrestling games ever made. In the SmackDown vs. Raw series, 2007, 2011, I go back and forth between which one is my favorite. 2007 has some of the better match placement areas you can go into. It has the best Hell in a Cell ever put in a video game. But 2011 plays so much better. If I had to choose a control scheme for a wrestling game that to me was the best, it would be 2011. It just works. I love it. I've spent so much time with it. 100% that game on Xbox 360. And even though the platinum is unattainable on the PS3 because the servers are shut down and I didn't do the online stuff earlier on in life, I will definitely get all of the trophies possible that are available. Another game I want to bring up that I had an absolute blast with is Army of Two, The 40th Day. So this is a game that on the Resident Daryl YouTube channel I have been searching for. And this is a game that is only like $10. But I refused to order it offline. I wanted to find it in the wild, and I really wanted to find it at like a flea market or a thrift store or a yard sale or something. I ended up finding it at my favorite game store, Overstock Collectibles in West Columbia, South Carolina. Totally just walked in there randomly to trade in a bunch of stuff that I picked up that wasn't necessarily. There's like a certain point where like I don't know that everything is worth putting on eBay. If you look at how many games are listed versus how many games are sold and the price they go for, there's a certain margin to where this is just taking up space and it's not necessarily beneficial. So what I do, and it could be a $5 game, it could be a $10 game, but it just when I look at everything or the condition of the game that I have, like if I have a game that's a little scratched up that like doesn't affect the gameplay at all, maybe I'll list it on there. But if it's got, a decent amount of scratches to where I could risk it being returned, Overstock Collectibles has a very, very nice fancy disc repair system. So I can go over there, trade it in. Maybe I get a little bit less than what it's, I could get selling it for. But, I'm trying to pick everything up as cheap as possible in bulk when possible. So it's still a win-win. So what I do is I go over there once every week or two, do a big trade in. And I walked in just to drop a bin off for trade-ins, and there it was. Boom, Army of Two, 40th Day. Super stoked to have it. Played it with my son. We had an absolute blast. I played on normal. He cranked it up to hardest difficulty. And, of course, I'm spending most of my time dragging him around the map, trying not to die. But that game, still, we were playing on an 85-inch TV, and it still looked really, really good. So, mad shout-out to that game. Absolutely love that game. And the next game and the last game I want to bring up, even though I did play others, is a PlayStation Plus premium game, Hot Shots Golf 2, with the trophy patch. That's right, Hot Shots Golf 2 has trophies. It is still fun to play. There are a lot of trophies you can get with some of the modes in the game that kind of like play themselves. So you can get the first 10 trophies of the game without even really trying. But from that point on, you do have to make some good shots. You have to do some things. And overall, it's not a difficult game to play as far as getting trophies goes. But if you just want to play the game, just to enjoy it, it is just as good as I remembered on the PlayStation. I'm having a blast with it, chipping away at it. I don't have the platinum in it yet. I'm not really in any hurry to get the platinum. I needed the sports trophies for the competition. So I did load in there, bust out the first 10 of them real quickly. And then from that, now I'm just kind of casually playing the game. And I've got 14 out of 17 trophies on the PS5 version. And of course, I'll go back and finish up the PS4 version. But guys, Hot Shots Golf 2, excellent, excellent game. And it was so funny because I remembered unlocking the characters when I played it as a kid. And then going through and unlocking Sweet Tooth and Gex and all this stuff. I'm like, man, this is so cool. This is the stuff I wish that I was still doing, having these big franchises out there, these big, sports franchises, but then being able to unlock other characters and mascots from other games. Like, how cool would it be to be Kratos or Aloy playing Hot Shots Golf today? It's goofy, it's silly, but it's the crossover that we need, and it's the crossover that we deserve. So definitely bring back Hot Shots Golf and bring over these characters. All right, guys, I'm going to patch in the trophy rarity event update right now. Then I'm going to let the rest of the episode play through. So I appreciate you guys for listening, subscribing, checking this podcast out each and every week. If you have not already, please go check out Resident Daryl on YouTube. That is my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is growing pretty well. I think we're getting close to 300 subscribers now, so definitely appreciate it. But I would ask this. If you're not going to watch the content, don't just go randomly throw a subscribe on there. I would much rather you check it out and subscribe if you like it. But I definitely want people over there on the channel to engage with it because we're doing some fun stuff over there. Yes, we are going around and it's a body cam. It's a GoPro strapped on my chest, and we go to yard sales, thrift stores, conventions, all this good stuff. Yes, I do these challenge videos. I try to do a challenge video maybe every 3 weeks or so with the kids. I'll order up a bunch of boxes of games off Marketplace and stuff. I've actually been looking online at other places to do bigger mystery boxes. And so what I like to have fun with them. Game values to them are way different than what they are to me because I've been staring at these things for 30 years and I understand what they cost and what they go for. The kids, however, it's still new to them, so it's still exciting to them. So I love when they open up these packages and get super excited what they think the games are worth. So I have secured the prize for the next challenge video, and I'll be doing that one very, very soon. So thank you guys for checking it out. Resident Daryl on YouTube. Here is the trophy rarity update.
Music make you lose control.
Welcome back to a late recording of the rarity contest. Weekend proved a little bit difficult to record, trying to get family stuff done, trying to get work stuff done. I've started a course in digital marketing and I had a module due in at the weekend, so I've been doing that. And finally found a bit of time to record this. So hopefully it will reach the podcasts in time to get that in. So we'll go into it. So starting at the bottom, as always, we have, and as always, one plat Zach, no movement, 25th place, 2 points, 0 this week, 0 trophies this year. So no change there. We do see, although we don't see a positional change, Kalai is in 24th still, but she more than doubled her score. She was on 6 points previously. She's jumped to 14, so 8-point increase this week. And she's been playing one of Rick's favourite games, Slay the Spire. And that was her rarest trophy. Well, in fact, it was rarest. It was the only game she did play, but still, 8 points is good. Moving in the right direction and catching up with 23rd place Darth Knight, who has fallen off the earth, I think. He's only got 1 legacy point this week, taking him to 23 in total. No trophies since, I think, the 24th of March was the last time that I saw that he had earned a trophy. So he probably obviously got a few other things going on in his life. That means the PlayStation isn't a priority. Next up is Tross. Tross had a good week, probably one of his better weeks, if not his best week of the season. He had 11 points, taking him to 52. And he had his rarest trophy of the season as well, which was Sea Turtle in Rocket League. So it's a very rare trophy, so it was worth 5 points to him at 9.92. So on the edge of very rare and rare. We may see it tip over at some point in the season, but for now it's a 5-pointer. 21st place, departed 570. 3 legacy points taken him to 99, one shy of the Sentry. He didn't earn any trophies this week, but he has increased his points tally for the season. And staying in 20th place is the Brain 76, Riley. He had 17 points, so he pulled a further clear of departed. He's on 130 now for the season, and his rarest trophy was We Were Here Forever We Were Here Forever. So that is the platinum trophy in that at 42.98%. And then we move into the first change on the leaderboard. We had dropping down 2 places from 17th to 19th was Stink Palm, Jared. He had 12 points, and that took him to 163 points. His rarest trophy of the week was in Diablo 2 at 14.9%. I think they were tied. Him and Tricky were tied last week, and Tricky has just snuck ahead of him. He's only got 3 points lead over. No, so it must have been Jared was slightly ahead, but Tricky has now got a 3-point lead over Jared. He had 17 points this week. And a trophy that it seems a few people were doing. There must have been an online boosting session, and that was in Assassin's Creed Black Flag at 12.87%. So nearly his rarest trophy of the season. 12.8 is his rarest. But so he is now on 166 points. Next up from that, we have Homer Gets Duffed. He has moved up 2 places, so he overtook both Tricky and Jared. He's gone up to 17th. He had definitely his best week of the competition so far. He had 68 points, taking him to 216. So that's a really good score, to be fair. I think anybody who hits 68 points can be pleased with their score each week. And he had the platinum. His rarest trophy was the platinum in Legend of Dragoon, which is available on PS Premium, I believe, if you've got that. So that was at 14.7%. So that 216 points for Homer brings him closer to JT. That one to go, dropped down 2 places from 14th to 16th. He's on 277, so still a fair lead over Homer. He had 14 points this week, and as I said, a few people had done the boosting session in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. He was one of them because that was also his rarest trophy of the week. Preemptive Strike in Black Flag at 12.87%. So his fall meant that Sadak stayed in 15th place. He had 25 points, so that took him above JT. Bit of a contradiction there, because I've said stayed in 15th place and took him above it, but that's because the next player jumped 2. But he had 25 points and takes him to 286. His rarest trophy of the week was in Street Fighter V, Sultan of Titles at 11.29%. And that takes him to 286 points and a decent score from Sadak, who obviously, I was going to say is a member of GTTSC, but I'll come on to that towards the end. In 14th place is Nitro. He jumped up from 16th to 14th, probably his best week, if not his second best week. I think his best week might have come in the opening week, actually, of the competition. But he had 66 points. He went past the 300-point mark. He's on 304. And his rarest trophy was in WWE 2K Battlegrounds. So good movements, good points there from MZ. Though he is still 100 points behind Joe, who had a 39-point week, which seemed to be around sort of where Joe is. He's somewhere between sort of 30, 39 points each week, so fairly consistent with that. And obviously same with Joe. He plays a multitude of games. He sort of, when you look at his list of games that he plays, he's at least sort of 5 or 6 games that he tries to play. And his rarest trophy this week was in WWE 2K23. So both of those two places have both been playing wrestling games. So Joe stayed where he was in 13th. Staying where he is in 12th is Daryl. He's obviously been on vacation this week, but he still managed 51 points, which was pretty good, considering he only had access to the Vita and PS3. Suit Up in Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection at 23.67% meant he moved to 426 points, so pulled a little bit clear of Joe. 22 points difference between those two now. As Daryl's probably now looking at sort of a top 10 because he's got both 10th and 11th in his sights. So 11th is Diego. He had 46 points, taking him to 451. So there's only 25 points between those Daryl and Diego now. And Diego's rarest trophy was in Binary Domain, that PS3 title. I think I mentioned it last week. He was still playing it. So he's done well there. Dupes matched his score in 10th place. He also had 46 points, which is an improvement for Dupes from previous weeks. And he had the platinum in Among Us, which scored him well. And I think his rarest trophy is in Among Us, although not the platinum. It's I'm guessing it must be DLC because it's 8.80%, whereas the platinum is 15.13, so it must be a DLC trophy, but he's on 457. So there's only 30 odd points, 31 points between those three places. A little bit of a jump up to 9th, which is Yield. Yield has dropped down a place from 8th. Yield had 31 points. A bit like Joe, he also had, he's fairly consistent with his scoring, usually in the 30s. Occasionally, he has had a few weeks in the 50s recently. But and again, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the online multiplayer trophy, Preemptive Strike was his rarest of the week. So him, JT and Tricky must have all been doing that. In 8th place, rising a place from 9th, is CJ. CJ had a really good week, 60 points, taking him 10 clear of Yield. Yield had overtaken him last week. And not a super rare trophy at all by any stretch of imagination, but refused to lose in Hot Shots Golf 2 at 42.17%. But nevertheless, 60 points is still a really good effort. Into 7th place, it was a move down for Corey, the grounded gamer. He only had 9 points, as we know. You see with Corey, he's up and down, work commitments and whatnot, but I think he had a good week last week, and obviously that's been balanced out by only having 9 points this week. But his rarest was in Riders Republic, which for anybody who's interested, I'm recording this on a Tuesday. It has just dropped onto the PS Plus Extra tier as of today. So it's a game that will play at some point. So looking forward to that. But he's on 670 points, so he's got a good sort of 130, 125 point lead over CJ. But I'm sure CJ and Yield will both be trying to sort of wind Corey in. And then we had obviously the one player who has been shooting it through the lead wars is now into 6th place, which is the I Am Styling on You Bro. Is ultra rare and very rare, just keep increasing and increasing. Playing his train games, his sim games, but that's where all of his points have come from so far in the competition, is from sort of DLC for Train Sim World 2. But he was the only player to score over 100 points this week, 111. He had his rarest trophy of the competition so far at 3.29% as well. So he's moved 5 points clear of Corey on 675. and he is closing the gap on Redbeard Rick, albeit there is a gap to close. Rick had 28 points, taking him to 808, and his rarest trophy was in the Tomb Raider reboot, which is still a game I haven't played. One of many that I haven't played. One of many good games that I haven't played. So Rick has broken that 800-point barrier as he tries to close the gap on Alex, which he did slightly. Alex had 23 points, so there was a 5-point gap. 5-point difference that Rick had managed to close on that. So there's only actually 35 points between the two of them. Alex is still going through Resident Evil 4. We'll see whether he can get the platinum in that or not, but his rarest trophy was Smooth Escape, which was at the time was 41.63% rarity. As we drop through as we enter the top 3 places, we have myself in 3rd place still. I have broken the 1,000 point barrier, so 1,005 points with 54 points this week. My rarest trophy of the week was in Back 4 Blood, one of the DLC trophies for obtaining the secret in Act 5. And I wasn't able to pull any ground back, though, on the top 2. Mark Fraser remains in 2nd place. He had 74 points, so I actually dropped 20 points further back than what I was last week. He's on 1,096 points. His rarest trophy was in Madden 23 at 11.29%. So well done to Mark for sort of continuing to rise through the league. But it's going to take one almighty effort for anybody to catch the runaway leader, which is Mies Goatsalot. He had 2nd highest score of the week, 86 points. He's on a total of 1,741. So that's a lead of about 650, roughly, give or take. He also had the rarest trophy of the week this week in Minecraft Dungeons. So it's another really impressive performance from George there. So that's the table as we go into the rarest trophies of the week. So I always find a way somehow, but I always find a way into this top 5 rarest trophies of the week, and I've just clung on into 5th place this week with my trophy in Back 4 Blood. Let's get it right, Back 4 Blood, which actually, when you look at these rarest trophies of the week, it's they're probably the most common set of rarest trophies that we've had all year, actually. So I snuck into the top 5 with a rarity of 9.51%, which I think is the highest 5th place trophy we've had of these weekly scores. But that was for finding the secret in Act 5. At number 4, we have Dupes, and that is for his You Can Run in Among Us, which, as I said earlier, is a DLC trophy, and that was for obtaining 100 kills as a Seeker in hide and seek mode. MZ has found his way onto the rarest trophies of the week, probably his first time appearing on these, but he's in there with his Versus the World in WWE 2K Battlegrounds at 6.56%, and that's for winning a gauntlet match against 5 opponents or more. At number 2 is I'm Styling on Your Bro with his rarest trophy of the competition, which is NECBP Wicked Busy in Train Sim World 2 Set 3. And the description of this trophy is complete 400 passenger boarding tasks using the MBTA F40PH-3C, whatever that is. No idea. But that's what he got it for. And as I said, rarest trophy of the week is 2.59% Homecoming in Minecraft Dungeons, and that was by Mies Goatsalot, George, and that was for during ancient hunts, bring a wolf, a bat, and a soul entity to familiar locations. Got a long-winded description there. But well done to everybody who got those rare trophies this week. It made no difference whatsoever to the rarest trophies overall. Obviously, even the rarest trophy of this week was still much higher than the rarest, even the 5th rarest of the overall contest. So I won't go into too much detail, but in there we've got Yield. It holds the 5th place, myself 4th, Alex 3rd, Rick 2nd, and Mark Fraser holds the number 1 spot. 2 of those trophies are under 1% as well. So, but check the spreadsheet if you want to find out what those trophies are and what games they're in. As we come on to the platinums and 100%. So we'll start with the 100%ers, games that don't have platinums. A couple of people earned these. In fact, Team Loot Bros on the GTTSC earned these. So myself, Daryl, and Rick all had 100. We're the only ones to have 100% in the game, in various games. So I had earned my 100% in a game called Gabuchi at 54.50%. It was a game that has just been removed from PS Extra as of today. Resident Daryl had 3. He had Doodle Devil, which is a Vita game, I believe, at 64.75%. He had Doodle God at 48.93%. And a game that was given away on PS Plus many years ago, Thomas Was Alone, and that was at 26.09%. So he had the 100% in all 3 of those. And Rick completed the 100% on Super Hang-On at 47.06%. So well done to those people. And then moving on to the platinums, I also had a platinum, albeit not that rare. It's in a game called Darts Up, which was at 74.02%. The reason I played that was because to get the sports trophies that were required for the GTTSC event, I thought it didn't take me too long, but I thought when I picked it up, it was going to be easier than what I thought it was. To throw and aim the darts, it's via motion control, and there is actually no aim in reticule. So when it's asking you to score 3 doubles or 3 trebles, or a series of different scores, it's more sort of get familiarising where your previous shot has gone, rather than sort of because, as I said, there is no aiming mechanism at all, other than the fact that you are swiping up with the analog stick and motion control to control the actual dart throw. The Brain 76 and Yield both got the platinum, so I'm presuming they were doing it together in We Were Here Forever. That was at 42.98%, so congratulations to those 2. I know that they've played through the previous games as well, and both thoroughly enjoyed them. The next rarest was a nice platinum to get, which is JT. That once ago, he earned his platinum in Uncharted Lost Legacy, which is a 20.61% rarity. So good one to have. It's a game I've been meaning to get around to, but I still haven't done Uncharted 4 yet. So it'll probably be some time before I get to that one. Next up is MD Nitro, and he got 19.51% the platinum in Bee Simulator, a game that is available on PS Extra. I'm actually playing it at the moment as well, and it is a pretty chilled game, not too difficult. More uncommon trophies than I would have thought it would have been, so not a bad one to get your teeth into if you wanted a nice sort of 8 to 10 hour platinum with a few uncommons. And the rarest platinum, sorry, not the rarest platinum, Dupes, I missed one out there. So next is Dupes. He got the platinum in Among Us at 15.13%. He's obviously started on the DLC as well, so well done to Dupes. And the rarest of the week was Homer, who's got his platinum in Legend of Dragoon, which I mentioned already, which is at 14.70%. So well done to everybody who has done the platinums, the 100%, and obviously everybody, well done for your scores on the leaderboard. GTTSC is going on at the moment. Obviously, we've got the teams that are involved in that. Because I'm recording a little late, I can tell you that this week 2 period has now completed. We had everyone qualify who is on this leaderboard and in that event, bar one. Sadak dropped out, both of the individual and the team event, unfortunately. So he is no more, which leaves myself, Rick, and Daryl as Team Loot Bros. We're both all in on the individual and still all in on the team. You've got George, so me Scopes a lot, MZ and Yield. They're safely through in the team event. Yield didn't do the individual, but MZ and George are both in the individual. And CJ used bonuses to get through. I think he'd been away, so hadn't had a chance to play, but he uses bonuses to get through to the next week. So he is also into week 3, which we are underway and going forward to try and sort of qualify again for the week 4. So we'll give you an update. Daryl will probably speak about it at some point on his podcast as well. But good luck to everybody involved in that as well. And good luck to the rest of your trophy hunting endeavours for the week ahead. Take care. Cheers.
It's the Loot Bros podcast. We're going to talk about video games and mow your grass. Loot Bros podcast. We're going to talk about butts and slurp and penises. So stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Loot Bros Podcast. I am your host this week, the Bearded Nerd, and alongside me, I got a full stack crew replacing the rest of the weirdos that didn't decide to show up this week. I got Kalai.
What's up, everybody? I'm so excited to be here tonight.
Kalai is celebrating a birthday on Sunday as well. So the day after her birthday, you'll hear this. So happy birthday, Kalai. You're going to be old, even though you're already old enough.
Thank you.
Hey, she's getting a special guest to sing for her at her birthday, Michael Bolton, because he had nothing else better to do.
And bringing up the third chair, we got Mr. Thomas Crawford. How you doing tonight, buddy?
T Diddy is doing great, or Crawl Diddy, or however you want to call it. But I am super awesome. I'm stoked to be here, and just glad to be a recurring guest. For some reason, I don't know, y'all like me enough to keep me. So thank you for letting me continue to be a part of this wonderful journey and trip.
That's because Joe punks out, and we actually need somebody we can count on.
For some reason, we like JT, and we like our other guest this evening, Mr. Matt G.
You know, everybody else gets cool nicknames. I just go by my first name and last initial. I guess that's
all right. Fine. And tonight we have Ender.
No, I don't like that. Just go with Matt G.
That's what I thought. Oh, how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody have a good week so far? Been nice and calm.
Yeah, pretty good.
I am having a fantastic day.
It's been a
and on and on and on. Yes, I feel that. It's been a very busy week. Matt, I'm glad you could step away from your Razorback for 5 minutes to come and join us for a podcast tonight. How's that? I've seen your daily updates. You're like, it's coming along. I can do it. Wait, here's 3 and 4.
Oh, the Razor Crest. Yeah.
Razor Crest.
No,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Razorback.
I was like, Razorback. Is that a Horizon thing?
I didn't know.
I thought he was looking at a computer.
Yeah, no. That thing I've already, for those of you who don't know, we're talking about the Ultimate Collector Series Razor Crest Lego that I bought back in March, and I started putting together. And I am on step 14 out of 19 in box 1 out of 2 boxes. And I've spent probably about 10 to 12 hours so far putting it together. And I am still a ways away of being done.
He's just waiting for Harrison Ford to come and smash it.
I said if I wanted to be show accurate, I could just dump all the pieces out into a pile and I'm done.
That's fair.
You know, I do have to say, like, TikTok does all of these great videos of Grogu. And, like, it almost makes me want to watch The Mandalorian. Almost.
But this last week had Jack Black and Lizzo, so you should totally watch it.
I saw that on TikTok. I was like, is this a joke?
No, we were all very confused.
Okay.
And they came down from the heavens with a baby in his hand. But back to the task at hand, because we only have so much time because Daryl sucks. Shopkeeping this week, I want to give a shout out to our Patreon producers, Sadik, MZ, Nitro, JT, and this month we got Matt G coming in with the big old pledge. So I think you have something you'd like to say.
I do, thank you. And to everybody out there, I don't think this is a surprise. I don't think it's going to be a surprise to Daryl, because I asked him on a show that Thomas and I were on a couple weeks ago, and I said, how much would it take to get you to watch anime? And he said he would treat it like any other pledge. So I pledged this month, Daryl, you are going to watch the first 2 seasons of Attack on Titan, episodes 1 through 37. It is available on Crunchyroll. I don't care if you watch it subbed. I don't care if you watch it dubbed. That's your task.
Boom, shakalaka.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed that, there's no real anime titties in that for him, but whatever.
This is my bid to make him show that anime is not solely for pervs.
I think Jared would argue that.
Well, he's not watching Love Hina or watching Chobits or something like that. So, I mean, watch out. Was it Outlaw Star or Cowboy Bebop, and he's good to go.
Well, Cowboy Bebop still has some bits in it that he'd be like, oh, see, this is for pervs. I hold that Attack on Titan is that perfect show. Doesn't have any fan service that needs to show stuff. Yes, as somebody already told him, it's got the Titans are giant naked people, but no more than you see a mannequin at the store.
Did you watch the Beavis and Butthead parody of Attack on Titans?
I did not. I heard about it.
By the way, Attack on Titans is also on Hulu, which I think he has a Hulu subscription.
Daryl has plenty of choices.
All right.
That way you don't, in case
the next
anybody,
one you two to put an S at the end of that title, I'm booting from the room. Attack on Titan. No S. I'm gonna fight you.
Titans.
All right. How do I do this? I'm gonna figure it out. She's gonna go to say something and poof, gone. But that should be really interesting for him. That's actually a good one.
Because then once he's done, I'm going to jump in with him on the review and ask him. I'm going to interview him.
I'm down for that. Let's do it. Bam. Actually, so since Joe's never going to do his episodes for all of his pledges, Daryl and I started playing GTA 5 just so we could beat it, so we could talk about it. So the pledge is kind of complete. And then I think next month we're going to start whichever Need for Speed he was doing.
So how many strip clubs?
I keep asking.
How much time you spend in a strip club?
None yet. That's the only game that I've gotten to play, and I've gotten to play about 2 hours of it this week. But I'm skipping a very important part. All right, we're going to toast. Let's go. Everybody got your drinks? Get them out. All right, we're going to toast this week to our Patreon producers. We're going to toast to Daryl enjoying a vacation. Matt's lazy and has a glass of water with no ice in it probably, or it's empty, one of the two. And we're going to toast to Kalai. Happy birthday, Kalai.
Happy birthday, Kalai.
Thank you. As I try to crack open. Oh, come on. That was almost anticlimactic. We also have to give a shout out to one more person.
Who are we shouting out?
Mock of. I'm sorry, I have to look this up in the chat.
Yep. I got
Macho Man, isn't it Macho Man?
Yeah, Macho Man.
Yes, we want to give a shout out to Macho Man who bought a game off of Daryl, and Daryl gave him our Loot Bros podcast, his little card, business card, and he started listening to. So welcome to the Loot Bros podcast. It's not a real podcast unless we say something funny about any of our no users. So every time I hear his name, all I can think of is Macho Man. I want to be a macho man.
Not to be confused with Nacho Man.
Nacho.
Of course, Matt, you're not my nacho man. You're not my man. I don't know.
Womp, womp, womp.
I could be my own soundboard. Look at that. All right.
Take that, Tricky.
Take that, Tricky. It's time to check my social media. I fucking hate that so much. And he's never going to hear that I just did that because he doesn't listen to our show. But let's start around the table. Kalai, you're going to get to go first on everything since your birthday is on Sunday. How special do you feel?
I feel very special.
What have you been playing this week?
I haven't been playing. Oh, I know. I beat High on Life finally.
You mean the game that you put on our 100 games list?
Yeah, did I put that on the list?
You did. I was actually the first one out of the four of us to beat it.
Isn't that the only game you beat this year?
No, I have 12 points, I think.
Oh, okay.
Slacker? Disrespect. Shame.
Yeah, I actually sat down and beat High on Life. It was kind. I thought the ending was kind of like the last boss was easy for me.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And how about that achievement when you're falling down the hole?
I don't remember what it is. I beat that in January, like right after we started.
All right, this is a little bit of spoiler. Does anybody care if I spoil it, Matt? I think I told you.
I saw Steve beat the game, so I'm all good.
Thomas, you don't care, do you?
I do not care.
All right. So at this one point, you're fighting a boss who puts you basically on this acid trip, and you're falling down a hole, and he's talking to you, and he goes, I can make you do anything you want. Like I can make all your friends think that you spent 15 hours in a game in a strip club. And all of a sudden you get an achievement that said you spent 15 hours in a strip club in in the game. He goes, that's permanent now, and so everybody for you to see.
That game was such a parody of a game. It was a game.
Yeah, I liked it. I really did.
Action shooters.
Yeah, I can only play it in small chunks, but it was fun. I was glad to finally beat it. I felt the beginning of the game was harder than the end.
Kalai, that was on Game Pass for Xbox, correct?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
So for those who do have Game Pass, please go ahead and play it before it goes away.
It won't take you long to beat too. It'll take you like 8-10 hours.
Yeah, it wasn't a very long game. It wasn't.
And number 2 is already in development.
Without Roland Justin.
No, he got cleared and acquitted of all allegations.
He did not get acquitted. The charges were dismissed due to lack of evidence.
Thank you.
And everybody's already cut him, so they're not going to take him back.
Well, you know what they say: build 30 bridges and call you bridge builder, suck one dick, and you'll forever be known as a dick sucker.
So, if anybody doesn't know, High on Life is from the creators of Rick and Morty, and the main gun. Well, one of the complaints about the game was that the guns talk too much, so you can lower that. I personally didn't mind. I didn't like it. The main gun is voiced by Roland Justin, who also does the voice of Morty in Rick and Morty.
And Rick.
But that's about the tone of his voice acting. He can do like one of those two voices. There's no middle ground. So when you play the game, if you're a Rick and Morty fan, the gun sounds just like Morty. Like almost to a T, in my opinion. And if you watch Rick and Morty, there are some of the guns in the game kind of remind me of stuff that was in Rick and Morty. I don't know if you guys felt that. Or if you've seen Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I watch Rick and Morty.
I thought the one gun reminded me of Mr. Meese.
Mr. Meeseeks?
Yeah.
Talking to actually, I think the knife more than anything. Or wait, no. Which gun are you talking about?
The gun that spit his children out. because the Mr. Misi was like, all it did was create these little characters that would do something, but once their task was done, they would die.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happens with the gun.
Mr. Meeseeks, look at me.
I really enjoyed that game. I've been playing some more Vampire Survivors, because I think I'm going to try to 100% that.
You won't be able to 100%. The DLC comes out soon.
Not if I don't get the DLC. I mean, eventually I'm going to get the DLC.
It's like, I think they said it's like $3.
Yeah, it's not
$1.50.
Yeah.
$1.50.
Yeah, I'm going to eventually get that. Besides that, I haven't been playing much else. I do want to alert people to a deal. Now, a good deal, if you're a Nintendo fan. Tricky, if you're listening, this deal isn't for you, so don't go off crying about the deal I'm about to tell you. What's that?
You know he's not listening.
I know. The new Tears of the Kingdom is coming out in a couple of months. It's actually the first $70 game coming from Nintendo. If you want the game, you can go buy a Nintendo voucher, which is $100, and you can get 2 games for $100, and includes the pre-order for Tears of the Kingdom. So,
if you're smart like me, you buy the Nintendo gift cards from Costco, and you save $10, which means you save $30 in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more than 30 though, right?
No one ever claimed you weren't smart, Matt.
I think they claimed I'm not smart.
Sometimes.
Oh no, I fully admit I'm not smart.
You have your moments.
Yeah, so that's the deal I'm recommending for everybody. The games on the list are actually pretty good. I'm torn about the second game that I'm going to buy, because they do have Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy. They have
Pikmin 4.
Chain. Huh?
Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4. Yeah, I told Carl about it. He wants Pikmin 4 too. So, I mean, right there's a good deal. But
I just want time to play video games.
Right.
You're gonna lose that time again shortly. Few short months there, buddy.
Well, yeah. This week's been crazy. I pretty much get up. I'm out the door by 7:30 for work, and I usually don't get home till 7:30, and I'm just like, I'm tired. I feel like Cly. I feel old.
Wow.
I still haven't heard anything about this Roast Everyone episode. No one said they want to hear it.
Roast Everyone episode.
Yeah, you remember we talked about that?
Today?
No, that was on the episode. Oh, you weren't on that episode. I'm sorry, I lied.
Okay.
Never mind. We suggested that. So we had Dan Evans on and one of his friends, Zeke, and it was myself, Joe, and Daryl as well, and we all had we were all roasting each other like the whole time.
Wait,
making fun of
wasn't
each other
Zeke only on one episode?
Yep, that episode.
I was on that episode.
What? Oh yeah, there was a lot of people. I'm sorry. See,
now,
you were there
now
and you
who's
didn't
old?
hear it. I mean, me. I admit, I got guppy brain right now, bro.
Welcome to the Loop Bros. We don't know who's on what episode.
Hi guys, I'm hosting this week, and I don't have a line of thought. But is that all you've been playing?
Yeah, that's all I've been playing. I've been busy otherwise because I got a new mattress. I got one of those adjustable bed mattresses.
She's been breaking it in.
Okay.
Remember, Clyde, crack kills. Thomas, what have you been playing this week?
Tired.
Sir, I have just finished off playing Shin Like a Dragon. Because, the original game came out in, 2014 for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 3, if I'm correct. So they finally released it in America. I beat that one just yesterday. Currently, I'm still playing because I'm a sucker and an idiot. I decided to buy Batman Gotham Knights again for the PS5 rather than just for the Xbox. So I'm currently playing that. And then I'm also, because my young one just loves it to death, I am still currently playing Disney Dreamlight, which they just added Simba and Nala. And then the final thing that I started playing today, because it came from GameFly, is the Kirby's return to, was it Dreamland or something like that? It came out like a month or so ago, and it's the original Wii game but redone, which is quite beautiful. If you have a Switch, I strongly and you like those kind of games and you're a Kirby fan, strongly recommend it. I don't like the price point for it at being at $59.99, and I'm like, really? But other than that, that's all I'm currently playing, and I'm enjoying the Kirby, and I'm enjoying Gotham Knights again. Just because someone got it on the PS5 and they said, "Man, you got to get it for the PS5, man. I don't have an Xbox to play that on. All I have is an Xbox One. And I don't want to get an Xbox X Series." So that is my current love, but I love that I beat Ishin like a dragon. Again, if you like the Edo period and you're familiar, if you ever watched Rurouni Kenshin, for those who don't know, or Samurai X series, or for the OVAs for anime, basically you pretend to be Hajime Saito, and you're part of the Wolves of Nebu, and you're trying to find your, spoiler alert, I'll give people a few seconds here, you're trying to find your father's killer, and it's really cool. And if you've ever played any of the Yakuza games or Like a Dragon games, then you know they're very story driven, and there's a lot of twists and turns in it. So it was very good, man. I mean, and was it Rikira-san? I always say his name incorrectly. Was just the first time I think I've seen him cry in a game, so it was kind of emotional.
We'll have to get a full dive in on that one. Anything else you're playing?
Well, I mean, I play my usual kind of look. I'm a sucker for sports, and I love freaking and people are gonna hate me for this, but I love the NBA 2K 2016 with Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and I believe Kyrie Irving are all on the cover. And that one's really good because it still had I don't know if anybody here is old enough to remember the old shot, like when you take a shot and like it had the little bar above it and you got it correctly, you would always make it, but it was hard to get that bar correct. Now, like in all the newest versions, regardless of how good you are, even if that bar is 100% correct and you get it exactly right, it's still more like a 50-50 ball, even if you're right there on it, which is stupid. So, I love NBA basketball, or I used to. It's kind of become the travel league, and where I mean, seriously, if you watch a game now, you feel like someone takes 4 or 5 steps before they actually let go of the ball, and I'm like, dude, just go ahead and play rugby if you're going to be that way. For the people who actually watch the NBA basketball, and of course, if anybody loves football, the draft is yet but a few weeks away. So if you're hoping that your team won't be garbage next year, or should I say this year, then hopefully you'll get the quarterback or the wide receiver that will make all the difference. And you won't have a loser team like I do, which are the Houston Texans, which can't seem to get out of their own way.
Very well. Matt's like, is it my turn now? Yeah, Matt, it's your turn.
No, so my issue is like my basketball game experience goes back to NBA Jam, and that's about it for basketball. Thomas, I respect your opinion. Not a problem. I cannot stand a good amount of sports, and basketball is one of them.
My love for basketball goes all the way back to the Atari 2600 and even to the Intellivision. When it comes to the basketball, and of course I played Double Dribble. I played the Anarchy basketball for the NES, and it was also in the arcade, which was actually very fun. So I've loved basketball forever. I always tell people when I was growing up, I wanted to be Magic Johnson, except without the AIDS. So
insert Joe's Jesus Christ.
But because Magic was amazing, man, and I'm originally from Houston, Texas, and so I was like when we made it to the championship game, and we had like a young Olajuwon for those who know basketball, and we had a Moses Malone and Larry Bird and the Celtics. This is when Bird, I think it was like 84 or 85, and Bird just straight up destroyed us. So like I don't hate the Celtics necessary, but I hated them that year because they went against my Houston Rockets, and I was just so very and I was a child. Well, I was like 8, but I was like, let's just say I was not very happy with Mr. Bird, Kevin McHale, the Chief, Robert Parrish, Danny Ames. I can go on and on because they have a hell of a bench, but I'm not going to bore you with that because you don't care about basketball like that. But
Clyde, you just had a pussy walk by. I saw
I
it.
did.
All I did was see a tail on the camera.
I just love the fact, man, that like basketball games have evolved over the years, and I'm surprised no one really made, outside of the NBA jams, no one made like an NFL blitz style basketball game, or just like did something really creative with basketball where you just added these.
I thought that was NBA Street.
Dude, they only did like 3 street games, and then the last one they did was kind of garbage. Because they used the same graphic engine from remember the last Def Jam games they made for the PS3, and it was just straight up trash, man. It wasn't even Def Jams. I mean, Def Jam's Fight for New York was awesome. Def Jam's Vendetta was awesome, but the one they made for the PS3, I forgot what it's called. I actually have it on my wall here somewhere. Icons. It was straight trash, dude. It's the same graphic engine they used for the last Streets game, and God, if they were going to remake if EA still has the licensings, please, for the love of all that is great, remake Fight for New York or Vendetta, because they're both amazing games. Sorry, I just had to go on that tangent about I don't know how basketball led back into wrestling. I feel like everything leads to wrestling. Well,
unfortunately, yeah. The basketball talk is lost on 3 out of the 4 people here. So you're talking to whoever in the audience. So you're talking to Joe essentially this whole time. That's about it. About the only person here that likes basketball. But we all love professional wrestling. WrestleMania was actually weekend before last weekend.
Except for the Cody Rhodes screw job.
We won't talk about that. We're not going to get into it. We're not going to get into Vince McMahon being a part of Endeavor and stuff getting stupid. But all right, moving on. Matt, what have you been playing this week, sir?
I've done a little bit of time in the Resident Evil 4 remake. I've gone back and restarted a Moonlighter run. I've restarted Hollow Knight. So there's a theme this week.
What's a Moonlight run or Moonlighter run?
Moonlighter. It's a roguelike game where you play a shopkeep and you have to revitalize a town. And you do that by upgrading your shop. Well, you need items to sell. So what you do is you go into the dungeon, fight the dungeon, bring the items back to your shop, and you got to sell it to customers. And the mini game is you have to figure out the right price to sell an item for. And originally what you get is you don't know. You just have to put an amount. Let's say $10.
So does anybody try to lowball you? Like they can sit there and it's like, hey, this is too much. I can give you $5.
So no, actually what you do is you get 4 different interactions. 1, the price is way too overpriced and they give you a really bad frowny face. Then the other is a frowny face, but they'll still buy it, meaning you overcharged a little bit and they're not
happy. So if the price is right,
they'll buy it. Yeah. And then you'll get another face where it's the perfect price. You make a profit, the customer's happy, and they'll buy it. Then there's a holy shit, this is so underpriced, I'm going to buy it right now, which means you lost out on a lot of profit. Rinse, repeat, you can upgrade your weapons, you can upgrade potions, and then you have to take on 5 different dungeons of escalating difficulty to get more items.
That sounds cool. What system is that for?
It's on Switch and PC. I think it's on PlayStation and Xbox.
I'm pretty sure
it's called Moonlighter.
And it's an indie game. It's not like expensive. It's like maybe $15, I'm going to say.
On the last Steam sale, I bought it for like $7.
Nice.
Part of my goal this year is I want to beat every Zelda game that I have not beaten before. every mainline Zelda game, I should say. So I've already beaten 1 and 2. I've moved on to A Link to the Past, which is a horrible crime that I've never actually beaten that game, but it's moving along in that. Don't give me that look, Thomas. So some of us aren't as old as other people in here, didn't have access to SNESs and other things.
I stopped having sex with one of the most prettiest girls I've ever been with just to play that game in Germany, by the way. I'm not lying one bit.
Oh, I remember that story.
Wow.
I'm not lying one bit, dude. I stopped. I had rented the game, and I got it from the PX from the place in Firth, and the girl was like, "Oh, well, we only have so much time together for your parents get home." I'm like, "This is Zelda. This is Link to the Past," and I'm like trying to explain to her how important this is, and I only have it I only have it for like 2 days. I can be with her anytime.
Is that true now?
No, not with her anymore.
Yeah.
It was back then when I was like 16.
Yeah, and anyways, so yeah, I've moved on to A Link to the Past. I've got a couple other Zeldas on my queue, but obviously Tears of the Kingdom comes out in a month, and I'll be spending a good amount of time in that. And finally, the last game I've been playing, I've started my Sekiro playthrough. I've never played that game before, but after playing Elden Ring,
die twice.
I wanted another challenge. Yep, absolutely. And I think it's false advertising. I die a lot more than twice, but I hit my first wall and overcame it. So I'm really excited about what this game does.
That's what she said.
Technically, it's not Sekiro dies twice. It's Shadows die twice.
Are you is your skin rotting yet? Because like if you die a certain amount of time, your skin starts rotting.
No, I'm still fairly early on in the game, but I did get the dragon rot already, and it's like, hey, your unseen aid is diminished. I'm like, yeah, thanks, got it.
I got to get back into Elden Ring. I
am here to help you, but you want to play your. I don't even know what you're playing.
How do you like the assassinations?
I don't know
game?
what I'm playing either.
It's fun. They're very cinematic, and it's making me want to learn how to break their stance so I can get
Did you kill the snake yet?
No, like I said, I'm very early on in the game. I just beat that first
That's
general
on the horse.
That was that the no, like the very first general.
Never mind.
After the gate. Yeah, and don't worry about spoiling it. I know it's been out for a while. I've known some of the bosses. I know about the monkey boss, and I'm dreading that.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
Zach, that would be on to you.
Like I said, I haven't been playing much this week. The only thing that I've really played console wise is GTA 5. I did like the first 3 or 4 missions just to get the boring.
Did you go online as well, or are you just doing the story?
I'm just doing the story. We're trying to play through the story to get it done, so that way we can talk about it, and Joe can actually record an episode with somebody and stop being lazy. So started playing that a little bit, but other than that, Marvel Snap. Just sitting in the chair watching TV playing Marvel Snap. Can you
get extra cards? Like, how much extra do you have to pay to get extra cards for the Marvel Snap? In other words, like the deck cards.
Well, I mean, so you don't really pay extra to get those cards. So the only way around like leveling up your collection level and stuff like that would be to buy the variants, because if you buy a variant, it unlocks the cards. But once you get past 1,000, you'll have all of the first 2 pools worth of cards. So you'll have pool 1 and pool 2, and then series 3, 4, and 5. You get a free Series 3 card every month. And then Series 4 and 5, you just have to hope you open them in
and this is just for logging in, or they just give it to you even if you don't log in?
No,
you have to log in. And so they rotate every 12 hours in the store. They rotate a Series 3 card. But you can only claim one per month. So you have to claim whichever one. So you could be like, oh, well, I really want this one. And you could wait to see if it pops up that month and claim it. But if not, I would just.
And what's the best card you've come across so far?
It's not really like that though.
Yeah. It's more like tier lists. For different decks and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a different type. It's not what you expect with a card game. Like you expect to have to buy packs and all that. You
Nope.
don't have to buy packs. As you upgrade the cards, all upgrades do for your card is make them look prettier. There's no additional benefits besides that. And as you increase your card levels, you get collector's boxes, and in those collector boxes, you get new cards. So you can buy the coin to upgrade faster, but you earn them.
So it
pretty
doesn't tell you
fast.
any story of your character, like from upgrading your character. In other words, like it goes more deeper into Wolverine's story. It goes more deeper in Cyclops'
No.
story.
No, it
No,
doesn't.
it's
No,
it's
no story
shiny.
goes with it.
It's
Yeah.
shiny. It's animated.
So it goes. You get the base card, then a frame break, and then 3D, and then a shiny logo, and then animated, then shiny logo, and then an animated frame, and then the infinite frame, which is like a galaxy around the outside, and then you can, after you level it up again, it goes into a variant, I guess, a good way to put it, where it has a rainbow background, and then you keep leveling up, and you can split it. When you split it, it will turn into different ones. It could be like the black and white background and so on and so forth. But to level up your collection level and collect more cards, you have to play the game and get credits and boosters. And when you do that, you have to have a certain amount of boosters and a certain amount of credits to level it up.
Yeah, and it's not about like every 3 weeks they put out the season pass. I buy the season pass. The season pass gives you a brand new card, and then it gives you more. You get like quests or whatever you want to call them, to do, like, you have to play 200 powers worth of cards. You have to win a location with 4 cards. They give you silver to help you upgrade your cards. So like every couple of hours, like every 12 hours, you're getting new quests to do that give you the silver that you need to upgrade your cards. And then, everybody has their favorite decks, and all the decks, they add new cards. You get the new card, you upgrade your deck, or you create a new card. So it's not about which is your favorite card. It's more like what's your favorite combination. It's a lot of combinations. Like what combination are you using currently, Zach?
I say, I have 5 different decks that I play with depending on my challenges. I have my 1 bombs with Khazar, obviously. I have a deck I call it's Morbin Time. It's based around like Morbius and discarding cards.
Mm-hmm.
I have Big Dino, which is based around Devil Dinosaur and building a big hand and dropping him and him being big.
Yeah, I have that card too. I actually based that card off of Samuel L. Jackson's card, which puts cards in your hand, so it makes your hand bigger. So that way, Devil Dinosaur gets bigger.
So let's see. I'll read off my list. Actually, so to answer your question, Thomas, right now one of the most broken cards in the game, I think, is Shuri. She's pretty broken, along with especially if you play her in a deck like with She-Hulk or Red Skull. Play Shuri and then drop Red Skull the next turn for 24 power.
Is this Super Soldier Red Skull, or is this just regular Red Skull?
Okay. Just Red Skull. Oh, actually, one of my favorite decks. So one of my favorite decks to play right now, I call it anti-deck, because it's based around just stopping whatever anyone else is playing. And here you go, everybody. Here's a deck list for you: Sunspot, Scorpion, Storm, Cosmo, Killmonger, Jubilee, Shang-Chi, Enchantress, Leech, Vision, America Chavez, and the Infinite. It's probably one of my favorite decks to play, because it just makes everyone else not able to do anything. But yep, so that's like I said, that's pretty much all I have been playing this week. So I guess what I've been doing in my spare time mostly is I've been getting home, and the wife and I have been watching a show on Hulu called The Great, and it's about Peter the Great's son, and it's like a drama comedy. It's very, very raunchy, but it's very, very good. So if you guys enjoy that kind of stuff and you enjoy something that's like comedy / history based, I highly recommend it. But with that being said, I appreciate all of you and your patience. Let's go ahead and move on to our leaderboards. Clyde, do you want to do our backlog beatdown real quick?
Yes, I do. Hold on. Let me Get my old lady glasses on here. Okay, we have I'm standing on your bro at 104 points. Redbeard Rick at 56. JT in third place at 45. Mark is at 38. Diago is at 37. Gareth is at 30. I Yield to No One is 29. Departed is at 22. Daryl's at 22. Sadik is at 22. I'm at 21. Trying Casual Games is at 21. Alex Saunders at 20. CJ's at 20. Matthew's at 19. Jarrett's at 18. Dino Killer's at 12. Zach's at 8.
All right, something's not right. We need that's the fourth week in a row that I'm missing 2 points, but
Don't you have to update your stuff?
I have updated my stuff.
Huh. Okay. Well, if you send me what games you played, I can take a look. 42J is at 4. Sid is at 3. Haley Pickle is at 2. No, the Builder is at 2. Thomas, why aren't you in our backlog beatdown?
Because I have this 5-year-old who basically controls my life up until about around almost 9 o'clock every night. I just actually put her to bed a little bit earlier, so I seldomly have time to actually really play anything. And when I do, I am just so worn out, and everybody like wants something from me, my time, my money, mostly my time, because I have no money. But look, I would be a loser every week to everybody because I just don't have as much time as I like to say. And to me, to beat the Shin like a dragon was a act of mercy because my child let me play it uninterrupted for at least a couple of hours, and I skipped all the side missions because she let me play that. But that's why I'm not in your beatdown, because I would be beaten down every week, and I already look foolish enough, so I don't need any extra help.
No,
This is all for fun.
Yeah, this is all for fun.
See, you could have 2 points already. You probably beat other games this year. You could have like 6 points. You could be ahead of my daughter and Daryl's son.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like the rarity trophy.
kidding.
We're not going to come over here every week and like say, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's only at 2 points." No, the whole point is just to motivate you to play your backlog games. I do a lot. Even Zach is on, and he doesn't play a lot.
I have so many games that need to be finished. It's not even funny. I have like 4 or 5 of them that are open. They're not even open, and it's just like I just think about like, well, I need to play this. I need to play this. I need to play this, and then something comes out like, ooh, new shiny toy.
Pretty much, like I stopped playing Hogwarts Legacy because WWE 2K23 dropped, and I'm only halfway through the showcase mode, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll play GTA 5.
How much better is that graphically compared to 22? Because I want to get 23, but like, I'm not really impressed by what I've seen.
Slight improvement. Slight improvements. But you also got to think it's a game that's released yearly, and this is only the second year that this developer's had.
Which is in-house 2K and not Yoinks. Ukes. Yeah, I'm sorry. I always say Yoinks, but Ukes.
Yoinks. Jinkies. But yeah, just join the little groupie group on Facebook, and every time you beat a game, just take a picture of the end credits or the achievement that says you completed the story, and we give you some playing points.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy, and like I said, we're not. I mean, in all fairness, I enjoy Gaz ribbing me every week. He's gonna shit himself for the first month I actually turn the PlayStation on, and I get like 20 to 40 trophies in a month. We'll get there eventually, but moving over to our leaderboards. Thank you, Kalai, for that. A recap of the BLB. We're gonna start with we're gonna change it up. We're gonna start with the True Trophies leaderboard this week, and in first place, we got good old stinky Tricky Mick with 214 trophies, playing all of that freaking spam that he can play, spamming his little heart out. We got Mies Goatsalot with 123 trophies. We got Redbeard Rick in third place with 70 trophies. And MZ Nitro in fourth place with 58 trophies. He's playing one of the world's worst WWE games, 2K Battlegrounds. Gaz Davis in fifth place with 55 trophies. He was playing Bee Simulator.
That game's hard, man.
What?
I tried to play that
He
Beat
was.
Simulator. That game is hard.
Well, it was funny because we had somebody, who was it? Who posted that they platinum that game? Was it
Wouldn't it have
MZ?
been Stylen? Because I feel like he platinums all the simulator games.
It should have been Stylen, but it wasn't. It was somebody. That's what I said. It was kind of like off the wall for it not to be him, and I was very confused. He's probably already got that platinum. Let's be honest. But actually, he plays more on the Xbox side because he is a masochist. But sorry. So moving on the True Achievements leaderboard, in first place with 55,000 achievement points this week is I'm Styling on You, Bro. All right, guys, just to put that in perspective, that's the equivalent essentially of platinuming 55 games in a week.
What was he playing?
His last achievement was in A Winter's Daydream, which is it's a visual novel, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It says 0 to 0.5 hours to unlock all of the achievements.
So it's basically
But still,
the
yeah.
Avatar game for the 360 and the PlayStation 3, where all you had to do for the first 5 seconds of the game is airbend and airbend 3 guys, and you got a complete platinum or a complete 1,000 points.
No, this is he turned on his Xbox, he hit the A button, and then let the movie play. Literally, just yeah. Satic is in second place with 4,340 achievement points. And the Loot Bros own Male 21 in third place with 260 achievement points.
Oh, yay! High on life.
Yep, exactly. And then we got Dump Liquor in fourth place with 140 achievement points. And in fifth place, a GDI Master Ace with 140 achievement points as well. The True Achievements leaderboard only went down to 8 people getting achievements this week, and the True Trophies went all the way down to 18 people getting at least 1 trophy this week. And Kalai even got a trophy this week in Slay the Spire.
Yes, which I'm playing right now.
So that is our leaderboards for this week. Unfortunately, I slacked off and been so busy with work that I didn't post a community questions thread. So we have none of those this week. I do apologize to all of you great listeners. With Daryl not being here, my brain is on a tizzy. So he's Daddy Daryl. He keeps me in line. He runs a straight and narrow. All right, but we have a really fun twat of the week. So this week we're going to talk about some games that were super duper hyped up, but unfortunately when they released fell very, very flat on their face and broke their nose. Kalai, would you like to start us off?
Yes, I actually did. You're right. I did think of a game. I could think of one game. The Last of Us Part 2.
He said games that fell flat in their face.
Yeah, I said fell flat on their face. Like
Not a
The Last
bait and
of Us,
switch, but something that fell flat on his face.
like the new Last of Us, the remake or whatever. I guess this newest one is. Everyone is not happy with it. The Last of Us Part 1, I think is what it is, right?
With no multiplayer,
Yeah,
yes.
Part 1.
But don't worry, it's promised, just like number
all
2 was promised. When it before it came out, it's like, oh yeah, they're going to do multiplayer, but it's going to come in November. Oh well, they're not working on multiplayer; they're working on possibly co-op. No. What they're doing now is like, dude, man, stop, pissing on my boots and telling me it's raining, bro. Just say, hey, we decided to do something else, and that's it, rather than lie to the people. I think people should get together and do a class action lawsuit against Naughty Dog for lying on Last of Us 2 and the remake of Last of Us 1. Because remember, they are saying, and it's been out for a while, oh, the co-op is coming. It's almost like as bad as, what is it, Game of Thrones, where it's like, or the South Park episode, the dragons are coming. The dragons are coming. So anyways, these guys with these penises, no. The dragons are coming. I just want some food. I'm dying.
Kalai, what is your reasoning behind this?
I didn't like the ending. I don't like what they did with Ellie's character.
Oh no, this isn't the games that that fell flat for you. These are games that fell flat. You're fired. And where's the remove button? I still haven't found it yet.
Get out of my office. You're fucking fired.
Where's that remove? Where's that boot button? I haven't found it yet.
I mean, I have you played The Last of Us Part 2?
Yes.
I haven't even played The Last of Us Part 1.
And I actually liked Part 2 a lot.
Part 2 would have been better as a prequel, and then having Part 1 has the second one, which would have been much better story-wise. Now, look, everybody hates Abby for different reasons. I hate her because she's just, like, you force... I'm not going to spoil anything in case no one's beaten it yet, because he hasn't beat it.
No. It's been
He hasn't
so
beat
many
it yet,
years
so
now.
I don't want to sit there and do anything bad against him. So, long story short, she's just a very unlikable character, and the fact is that you're forced to spend time with this unlikable character makes you just hate her that much more. That's like, you have to spend the rest of your life with your rapist. It's just not something you want to do.
Here's how I would have fixed it, and I'm using air quotes here. I would have done it where you started the game as Abby.
That would be correct.
And you played until the twist, and then it changes into what it did. Like, if you took that entire first part of the game and just reorganized it, I think it would have been better.
Agreed. Now, one of the writers on that was the girl from Westworld, and I thought Westworld sucked. So it was Neil Cockman and the girl from Westworld who wrote this thing, and it's just dog shit. He didn't have the guy from Part 1 who worked with him on Uncharted 4 to actually rein him in, and then the girl who previously wrote the Uncharted series, I can't think of her name, she writes the Star Wars. That is correct. She's an amazing writer, deserves all the credit in the world. And she wrote the last 2 Star Wars. The new Star Wars is getting ready to come out at the end of the month. I believe she also worked on that one like she did the first one. So, Neil Cockman had no one to rein him in from his own, basically, devices of being a weirdo. And it's sad because I think he hurt the game. He had no one to rein him in. Because remember, he wanted Tess to be the main bad guy in Part 1. Spoiler alert for those who don't know about Part 1, but he wanted Tess to be the bad guy. Freaking idiot.
Well, I mean, there was a point that if the game ended, it would have been good. But no. They had to beat that shit with a pillowcase full of quarters. It just kept going. And that just didn't make sense as it, there's this whole push that women need to be in everything. Women need to be characters, need to be turned into women. If there is a story focused around a female protagonist, like the first one was, it was fantastic. I love what they did with her. I loved how she portrayed this 12-year-old girl that was so innocent.
And was trying to survive in a apocalyptic world.
Yeah. 8 years later, not even 8 years later, she's 18, 6 years later. 6 years later, it's like she took a whole bunch of steroids, became a very mannish girl, and then proceeded to they could have done so much better with the story. Like, it fell flat for me. They made the character wishy-washy. At one point, she makes one decision, she makes another decision, she goes back to the original decision, she just flip-flops, and it was absolutely stupid. It was like, what can we do to make a story around this character just so people can, fight zombies? So it fell flat for me because as a woman, I felt that they took her and made her too wishy-washy. And it was such a beautiful story up to that point, and then they just kept going and kept going. So,
whew. Well, I just felt like for that particular game, there's so many different things they could have did differently, and I think Matt had it correct with the pacing of the story and how the story was designed. And it's just like, did they listen to their test audience? Did they listen to their beta testers and basically say, I don't like the fucking pacing. Pardon my language. I don't like the pacing of this game. I don't like what you're doing. You know, there's like, no. You don't understand. See, it's a bigger picture. We want our fans to effing hate us. And then they're going to think we're genius because they hate us. And we're going to say, we're genius and we know it because we're all Andy Kaufman secretly. No, you're not all Andy Kaufman secretly, brah. You wrote a horrible story, and the story's not that horrible. Abby is likable if you change how the story is gone and it doesn't go on forever. And you know, it's just how it was presented and the bait and switch with all the trailers. Remember the years of those trailers that were coming out before the game actually came out, because it came out during the start of the pandemic in the summer. And everybody was like, oh, well, you can't return the game. Oh, this and that. And they did all this bait and switch with these trailers. And you're thinking, oh, man, Joel's going to help her find the person who killed. Because I thought someone had killed her girlfriend, okay? Like, you know, because they start out with the showing of the original videos of them showing the girlfriend. And, like, all of a sudden it's like, well, we're going to have to roll out. We're going to have to go. I'm here with you. And remember that. He says, I'm here with you, and I'm willing to do what it takes. And so Joel, you thinking Joel's going to help her in her quest, and he's just going to be a side character helping her. No.
Let's if we don't want to do any spoilers, let's.
But you get what I'm saying.
There,
and it's just,
and then
oh man,
we get what you're saying. Yeah.
All right, Thomas, what's your game? What game for you fell flat?
The game that fell flat on its butt, man. And I hate to say this because I really had high hopes for it, and I thought it would be more, was Forspoken for the PS5. And the reason why I had high hopes for it, because I played the demo, and it used a little bit of profanity in it, but not too much, and I had to switch it over to Dutch, and it was still using English profanity after I switched over to Dutch, because I have a young daughter, and she likes to play, or else I encourage her to play games that have female antagonists. And so that way she can see, you know, another female that's strong or whatever. But every 5 seconds out of the thing was some type of profanity or an F-bomb or whatever. And I'm like, I can't have my child play this in good faith, because next thing you know, she's going to be cursing. She'll get in trouble. I'll get in trouble. So I don't want to get in trouble with my wife. She's mean. So I had to actually return the game, and I felt bad for it. I tried my hardest to play it, but I felt like there was really no structure, and it was just poorly written. Like, I just did not like the story, and some of the powers were kind of worthless powers. And from the demo was really beautiful, and I was thinking, all right, so this is just a small smidgen of the world. All it really was basically taking most of the things from Final Fantasy, was it 15, and kind of just like the parts that I guess they didn't use, and just, okay, here's your world, the Final Fantasy. And it took so long to make this game, and that was just one of those things where I was like, wow. And then the music was all like kind of street music, and it's from Square Enix. Square Enix has access to good quality music. There is no reason why I should be hearing some bullcrap from Square Enix. That should be a great symphony. It should be beautiful background music going on. No. Basically boring generico music. And it makes me hate it so much. And then if you want to talk about another game, when I used to be a EB/GameStop employee that I told people about, Brinks, which is from the people who made Dishonored 1 and 2. It was originally supposed to be a cel-shaded game, and it was going to be fun. And then they decided to change it. It took so many years, and it's from Bethesda, by the way. Took them so many years to make it, and I told every customer not to buy this game because of how many years it took to make it, because they kept delaying it, and then they changed the actual art and everything, because it's a hardcore game for nobody knows, Brinks, or Brink, whichever one you want to call it. And that to me is probably the biggest disappointment, because there was so much hype surrounding it, because it's from Bethesda, and it's supposed to be Bethesda's biggest, you know, one of their biggest, coolest games, and it's new, and that's when hardcore was like a big deal, and that game was one of the biggest stinkers ever. But my biggest disappointment of this year so far has to be 100% Forspoken. Now, look, if you spend $15 on it, okay, that's fine. But for a $70 game, it's not worth $70. It's worth 15 to 20. That can be justified. Other than that, you cannot justify spending money on that game. In my opinion, you may have a different opinion on that, Matt.
No, I mean, when we talked a
haven't
couple
played
months
that yet,
ago
so-
and I said I played the demo and they threw you in and the mechanics didn't speak to me and the demo didn't do a good job explaining what you could do with everything. And it just immediately threw me off to the point where I didn't even buy the game. At least you took the step to try the game. I couldn't get that.
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just like it had so much potential. Not only if they would have even made it a more of a created character rather than just focusing on this one girl, and the girl is unbelievably gorgeous, by the way. If you can look her up, the actual model who did the modeling for it, beautiful woman. But I feel it was missing so many things. It's like you had everything intact, and remember, it was supposed to be an A++ game. It wasn't supposed to be like some small little thing for Square Enix. It was supposed to be a big thing, and I think that the president either got reprimanded or someone got reprimanded pretty hard for putting out that stinker. So maybe this will actually help Daryl get his Parasite Eve remake or a new Parasite Eve game since they put out such a stinker. But because remember when they put out the Final Fantasy movie, it was so bad that they had to fire the guy who was from all the Final Fantasy games up until what was the last one he did was 12 or 10 and 10X, and he had to that dude had to leave and start his own. Was it Mistwalker Studios where he did was it Dragon? Was it Blue Dragon? Which it was. I still love Blue Dragon, by the way. If nobody's played Blue Dragon for the Xbox, it should be re-released on all systems. Blue Dragon's a great RPG. Also, Lost Odyssey, another good RPG. Both have killer soundtracks. If you have an Xbox X series, I think they might be free. If not, strongly, if you love Japanese RPGs, great music, great stories, and they even had a Blue Dragon cartoon. I think they also did it in English, if I'm correct. Definitely check that out. But
All right, very well. Matt fell flat. Give it to me right on his face.
I've got a whole list here, but and the reason I just don't know which one to choose. I'm going to go with Star Fox Zero. Everybody was wanting a new Star Fox, and it seemed like it had everything going for it. And then people got their hands on it, and the stupid control scheme that they made just made the game
for the Wii U?
unplayable in any way, shape, or form. That was for the Wii U.
got that game.
Where on the screen you had your R-Wing, and on the gamepad is you had your first-person view, and you had to freaking hold up the gamepad to aim properly. And it was just stupid. It was a gimmick, and everybody knew the Wii U was a failing system, and the fact that this thing got out the gate at all was amazing. I bought it, and I regret it. I don't regret buying many games, but I played it for all of 2 levels, and I said, I can't do this. This is stupid. And again, if we're going with games that fell flat, this fell flat. I think it actually killed the Star Fox franchise. There have not been any inklings or talks about reinvigorating Star Fox since this stinker came out. And I'm upset because we need a good Star Fox. You know what was a good Star Fox? That stupid Kalai. What was that game that had all the toys?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
What was it? Atlas something? I don't remember. It was a game that you bought the game and it had little plastic ships on it, and you could attach that to your controller. And once you attached it to your controller, you flew the ship in the game.
Ubisoft engine Hawk and Hawk 2. So yes, that's why it's good.
Exactly.
It's using that engine.
So,
And
why don't you go back and play it?
And on the Switch, you could buy a version of the game that gave you Star Fox and the R-Wing. And I was like, that is a better Star Fox game than Star Fox Zero. It was crazy. So that's my game that I'm contributing to this conversation.
I got those
right
characters, like 3 or 4 of those characters from the Dollar Tree for $1 a piece. Well, when they were still $1, now it's $1.25.
It makes pretty decent collector's items.
So my desk get my work.
Oh boy.
Tell me.
Well, so Star Fox related for Matt. I'm gonna say Starlink, but that's a game for another time.
Only one game you're disappointed in?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm disappointed in many games. I figured we'd be going around in a circle. All right, Zach is stepping away. Kalai, do you have another one?
I couldn't think of anyone. I mean, there's not a lot of games that I just don't go, I don't like this game.
Christ, Kalai, your Google Foo sucks. Thomas, do you got another one?
I have a ton of them. And the one game that I really wanted to be like better than what it was, and it was a little too simplistic. Have you ever played Adam's Ventures Origins?
No.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to give you my quick, my actual game, real quick, and then I have to get out of here. So, fun fact: too long didn't read. Cops are on their way. Some crackhead tried hollering at my daughter earlier, and now he's chasing somebody else down my street. So, I had the sheriff on the way to my house. But my game that looked really good and the beta was a lot of fun, and then it fell really flat on his face, was Anthem.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that's on my list too.
Yep, Anthem was on my list. That was like my number one in the past couple of years.
Boy, what a fun segment, yeah. Another game that comes to mind outside of just that would be do you ever play any of the Bugsby games or was it Bugsy? Yeah, Bugsy games. Yeah,
Bubsy.
Yeah,
Bubsy the cat.
Bobcat. Some of those are like just outright total trash, and I bought those when they're on sale.
You better be careful there, Thomas. You better be careful. There's parts of the internet that adore Bubsy.
I was playing it when it originally came out for the original PlayStation, and I played the one that was like, what was like all of like 10 or 15 minutes. It was almost like a tech demo, and I really loved it. And I thought that the remakes for the PlayStation 4 were going to be great, and I got them on their own sale. And the one is just like, it's not even a ripoff or anything, and you want it to be good, but it's just, it doesn't have any feeling. It has no love. It's just like someone just made these levels, just put like some skins on it, and it just feels like every generic thing that's ever been made, and it's like they've never played none of the original stuff for the PlayStation. Because remember, Bugsy was going to be a really big deal, and all of a sudden, man, Homeboy just fell off the freaking map and then made a resurgence.
Well, that was, again, because I think it was a PlayStation game first, right? Yeah, so Sony was really trying to get their feelers out for a mascot, and it wasn't until they hit Crash that they got something that stuck. But like I said, there's some dark corners of the internet that hold Bubsy up to Jesus level of reverence.
Then why don't they do that for Ape Escape? Because I feel that way about Ape Escape. Have you ever played the Ape Escape games?
Yeah, but I don't think there's a single character in Ape Escape that's like, oh, that's the mascot. That's the person we got to talk about. All you know are the apes. It's like the minions from
Gru, was it Despicable Me?
Whatever that movie is. Yeah, Despicable Me. There you go.
I thought it was called Minions.
They have their own movie as well. They had their own movie after Despicable Me 2. Then they did Rise of Gru, which was their last one. But I'm surprised they did not get a game, considering it's from Universal's, and Universal didn't say, hey, man, let's make a mini game or do something with them. And it could have been something really simplistic, but they didn't do it. And I was thinking, well, good on them, or else they're just like, well, that's not enough. We're not going to make enough money off that in order to do whatever.
Untapped potential. You better trademark that before somebody steals it from you.
Oh, Just Cause 4 was trash, by the way, too. And I hate to say that because I loved the series for so long, and 3 was just a masterpiece. But Just Cause 4 was just the most horrible piece of trash.
Well, it was plagued by technical problems. Kalai, you were going to say something?
I was going to say I was kind of disappointed with Hollow Knight. Like, I really wanted to like that game. That game
but that game didn't that game didn't have like tons of hype building for it. It had a long tail. Once it got out and people started playing it, they really started enjoying it. But as it didn't fall flat, people still love that game. It's just you who didn't like that game.
See, I'm very terrible at this. I told you everybody I was going to be terrible at this.
You're terrible at a lot of things, but we still love you.
I know. I'm absolutely like I'm Googling terrible games to see what comes up.
Well,
Right,
Samurai
while you do
Jack
that,
fell
the next one.
down bad. If you played the Samurai Jack game for the PS4, I was expecting something a little bit better, and it was like the most simple, basic thing I've ever played.
I don't think anybody was expecting a lot from a Samurai Jack game. He makes better in TV form. I am adding All Points Bulletin to this list. It was a PC game coming out
and it was a
decades
free
ago at this
download
point.
for the PlayStation 4, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and that was after all the marketing and everything. It had a lot going for it. You know, you could play the cops, you could play the rebellious villains.
Wasn't this from the guys who originally did Saints Row 2 and they left to like do that?
I don't recall that.
No.
I can't.
It was the guys from Crackdown. Yeah, it was the guys from Crackdown 1 and 2 who left Crackdown in order to do that, if I'm correct.
So the game came out and it was horrible. It was plagued with bugs. It wasn't fun. The missions were simplistic. So it actually went away for a bit and came back as All Points Bulletin Reloaded, I think it was. And it still fell. They couldn't keep the game afloat, and they couldn't find their stride, and it was just a horrible game. I downloaded it, I played it, and said, wow, this is a whole lot of not fun and too much grind. So I stopped caring and I just deleted it.
I thought.
You find anything yet, Kalai?
Actually, I did come up with oh God, what is that game that really did fall flat? The exploration space one that fell flat, and they really had to do everything to bring it back.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. You got to give me that one.
In a way, but they've come back. Go ahead, Thomas.
Think about the games they made beforehand. Joe Danger 1 and 2. My child loves Joe Danger 1 and 2. And she will play those until basically she gets like the harder levels. So imagine you go from making Joe Danger 1 and 2, which are awesome games. If you never played them, please play them. And then you all of a sudden you make this game and you have this really kind of open world and it's very ambitious. Sony's basically giving you all this extra money and like you're becoming kind of more of a big name. And then everybody gets it and they're like, what is this dog crap? And I actually got it day one myself. And I thought to myself, this is the first time I've been taken hostage or basically been taken for a ride on something I believe, because I believed in their studio because I love Joe Danger 1 and 2. They were so awesome. So I figured it'd have a lot of fun gameplay. I'm just wandering around by myself, just on some random planet. There's no music going on, just kind of just dead silence. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, I guess this is supposed to be a realistic space simulation. I'm just roaming around, just collecting, rocks or some articles or something. And then I hop back in my spaceship, which looks like, has anybody ever here seen Battlestar Galactica?
Yes.
Your first spaceship you get looks like one of the original Battlestar Galactica spaceships, okay? So that's kind of cool because I grew up watching Battlestar Galactica and I loved it. I didn't get to watch the new one. People say the new one's awesome with was it Stackoff? I can't think of her first name. Katie Sackhoff,
yeah. No, you need to watch the 90s 2000s Battlestar because I never saw the original and I don't think I can go back after experiencing what they did with that series.
The Cylons were like super scary, man, as a little kid, like watching the original.
Yeah, and
are they scary in the new? Well, the one from the 2000s.
Oh yeah, they are sleek and devastating.
But they were super scary, man, and I would have nightmares about those things, man. It's like someone told me. They said that they watched, and just to deflect just for a second. Is I'm trying to get my child to watch Star Wars. She's 5, so Darth Vader is kind of scary. And I'm like, I don't know if I can get her to watch it, but someone said if they watch Spaceballs first, she won't be scared of Darth Vader because of Dark Helmet, and she won't like have the same thing about it. Because I don't think you could watch it in chronological order and still feel the same way about Vader. But if you watch it in New Hope and so forth, and then go back and watch the others, then you'll have a different opinion about Vader. But it's that whole when he comes out and you're scary. So basically, you don't even watch that one first. You can actually watch what is it, the one Rogue One, then the New Hope and everything. It would be perfect. But no, man, to me, it's scary as can be. And going back to what Kalai originally said, that game had so much, and I did come back to it. I actually rebought it like about 6 months ago, went back to No Man's Sky, and it is so much better. You feel like there's so much more to do. There's actually music. You can actually communicate with the community now. So it's definitely worth going back to. And props for them for supporting it for all these years and actually supporting it when they made a mistake for free.
For free.
Yeah, because a lot of companies would have said, screw you. They've done a super good job. And I really can do nothing but say great things about that company. And again, recommend Joe Danger 1 and 2 and support these guys, man, because they did a lot of good work for free.
So the problem with No Man's Sky originally was Sean Murray, the CEO of Hello Games, was making a lot of promises about what the game could do. And he kept focusing on the fact that it was these procedurally generated planets and was like, oh, well, with our algorithms, we can make something like 18 quintillion planets. And your job is to go to the center of the universe. And everybody goes, okay, cool. That sounds great. What happens when you get there? All right, well, you'll just have to play to find out. And the problem with procedurally generating 18 quintillion planets is you don't have a way of making them interesting. You're counting on algorithms to make things look cool, and the planets were barren. I bought it on PlayStation 4 as well to start, and I probably put about 10 to 15 hours in the game. To me, it was a very chill, relaxing type of game. There wasn't a lot of danger. You didn't have a lot to do. So it was just kind of, all right, I'll go over here, mine this, go over here, mine that. But after a while, it got repetitive and boring. And that's where it fell flat because he made a lot of promises. Oh, well, can you play with your friends? Yeah. And then within a day of this game's release, 2 players actually found themselves on the same exact planet at the same exact time, at the same exact place, and they could not see each other. They had all this proof out there. And it just showed that Murray was lying about what you could do in the game at release. Since then, they have updated the game, like Thomas was saying, multiple times. They added multiplayer. They added crossplay. There was a point where my wife was playing it on our PlayStation. I was playing it streaming on my Steam Deck, and we were able to play in the same session at the same time. So they have massively picked up where that game left off.
Well, you got to think, man, if they didn't make all these corrections and all those promises that were made, it's not like back in the old days when Peter Montague, which if anybody ever meets this guy, maybe tell him he's a... Well, no. I do not condone violence, but just tell him he's a horrible and awful person for making all the promises he made for Project Ego / Fable, and that he deserves to have his balls surgically removed and shoved down his throat.
Wait, okay, hold on. So I can't say punch Peter Molyneux in the face, but you could say let's surgically castrate the gentleman and make him consume his own testicles.
Well, he's British, so he'd probably like that.
Clyde, do you have any other games that you would like to add in?
Yes, actually, I have another one that I felt flat the first time around, and it got a little bit better, but it still fell flat, and that's Destiny. Like, I feel Destiny fell flat.
Destiny 1 absolutely was lacking at release.
And they even... And they scrub out Peter
Oh, well, no, Peter Dinklage, that was because of how much they updated the game once King's Fall, whatever that DLC was, they made some changes and they didn't feel like paying the Peter Dinklage fees anymore. So they updated that. And it was on that third DLC that came out that the game massively turned around. And we know Destiny, they learned their lesson and made Destiny 2 bigger and better for it. Sorry, Thomas, I think we skipped you once in a row. What else you got?
Well, I'm sorry. There's so many good games that could have been better than what they were. Does anybody remember the Lord of the Rings? What's it called? Was it War? Hold up. Give me just a second here. It's War.
Shadow of War?
Man. I felt that could have been a much better game than what it was.
That game was fantastic.
What I hated about it is the story wasn't.
That was the second one.
The second one's story was kind of dog crap.
one.
Now, the first one was really good. The first one I thought was amazing. And if you're going to steal and make Lord of the Rings, then definitely do it out that one. The Shadow of War, which is the second one, I just felt like it was just missing something, and it tried too hard to be something that it wasn't. And it's just the Nemesis system. Think about this. It's they basically copyrighted that system, and no one can use that system until they allow you to. And they haven't used that system in how many years ago did the last one come out? 5, maybe 6. So you have 6 or 7 years of this game being out with the Nemesis system that they have, but yet no one can use it, and they won't license it out. And of course it's from Warner Brothers. If anything, you should let some of your Warner Brothers brothers, like Mortal Kombat, use that for their Shaolin Knights, because they're supposed to be remaking Shaolin Knights, the one with Kung Lao and Liu Kang. If anybody ever played that game, do you remember that game?
I blocked those games out of my memory because they were not good.
Well, they had opportunities to be good, and if they would just relicense this system that they have for that game, again, it's only been used for 2 games, and it's from one of the original creators of Assassin's Creed. So that's why those games feel so good and they have so much good potential. But they have this awesome system, the Nemesis system, that they're not licensing out to anybody. And to me, that's one of those things where that game falls short, that I felt it could have been better. Because the first one I enjoyed and I loved. I got the second one expecting something amazing, and that did not happen at all. And I would say another game that kind of upsets me, that this may piss people off a little bit, but the Rabbited Rayman with Mario, the first one, I didn't like that one too much. I didn't think that was that good of a game. And I know a lot of people.
Mario versus
Yeah,
Rabbids?
the first one. The second one I like better.
I haven't played the second one.
I wouldn't say the first one fell flat. A lot of people, I think, were actually pleasantly surprised
but the projection of the numbers were supposed to be something more than what it was, because they were expecting the numbers to be a lot better. It's kind of like the Mario Olympics games, and I'm like, the Mario Sonic Olympic ones, and I'm like, I only rent those from GameFly. I never buy those. And it's just for the fact is, like, I don't need another button masher. I have enough of those on my wall.
Yeah, I think there's a difference, in my opinion. I think there's a difference between games that fall flat financially because the expectations of the developer did not match what consumers actually wanted. And then I think there's games that consumers are like all excited about, like Cyberpunk 2077, and then ultimately promises aren't met and sales suffer.
This is why you don't pre-order.
I can see where you're going.
You do not pre-order, because they were able to get away with that bull crap because of pre-ordering.
Listen, man, and you're speaking to one of the kings of, hey, don't pre-order that. And every so often, I will pre-order a game, and my process for pre-ordering a game has not failed me yet. Because I only pre-order stuff from trusted developers, people who are absolutely 100% have earned my goodwill. And one bad game isn't going to change that. But a bad game might make me not pre-order the next one. I'll still buy the next one, but I'm not going to pre-order it. I would like to throw in the ring Dead Island, because all of the cinematics for that game were gorgeous. It was really hyping up to be the next zombie survival game. The original Dead Island.
Hoodoo.
It was.
Remember the rapper, and like the rapper was on there. The hoodoo, you voodoo bitch.
I bought that song. So funny story. I bought that song so I could listen to it when I went to the gym and ran, so I could pretend I was running from zombies in the game.
That is funny, but not in the way you think, Kalai.
What?
It's funny, sad, not funny.
No, it's funny, haha, because we get to where we love. No. Listen to me. We get to where we love certain music from certain games. I'm not going to do any spoilers for it, but in the Mario movie, my wife does not play video games. Okay, she kind of hates video games because when we were first dating, I had a PlayStation and we played Tekken 3 because that's all I.
Because you wanted to play Zelda instead of have sex with her.
We're playing Tekken 3, and she picks like Eddie Gordo. So I'm using Paul Phoenix, and I'm being, technical, and I'm trying, and then she wins, and she started talking shit. So then, I start playing for real. I'm no longer joking. So then I just destroy her ass constantly, and then she's like, I don't play, and she hadn't played game.
And then you beat her in the game.
Yes, that too. But she has never played games with me since then, so she's never played like any Marios or anything. But just because the music from Mario was so good, we were in church the following day, and she's going dun 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 dun. And so that's what's so cool about gaming music, is that gaming music can be universal, and it's just like what Kalai said. She downloaded, and that is a unbelievably awesome story. She downloaded that song and walked on a treadmill to the hoodoo, you voodoo bitch. And if you never heard that song, of course you have, because you played Dead Island. And Dead Island is a 4-player co-op, man. I can't believe how you're disappointed with that one. Now, I can understand Dead Island Riptide, because Riptide was just kind of like a money grab. And then the other Dead Island, the CG? No, not the CG. The cell shaded one. That one was another money grab that was garbage. But like, not the original, dude. The original one was so cool, and it was just different because it was on the island.
But look at what happened, because everybody was expecting one type of game, and they got a different one. And that studio shuttered, and now we have Dead Island 2 being released in less than 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And it's faced its own troubles. It's in a different studio, and here we are finally getting a sequel how many years later? The first one killed the original company.
Well, I think that when you have so many people who are great minds, let's think about Tonobu Itagaki. Do you know who he is?
Not okay,
he was the guy who revitalized the Ninja Gaiden series in DOA. And apparently he got too big for his britches and basically got handsy with some of the female staff and had to be removed. Then he released Devil's Own for the Nintendo Wii. I believe it's the Nintendo Wii. And that was dog crap. And this is a guy who was one of the biggest directors, biggest gaming people. I mean, he was basically close to Hideo Kojima. At one point in time, he got handsy with some of the female staff, allegedly. And so he had to go out on his own and create his own new studio, which did Devil's Own, and everybody hated that game. It was the most generic garbage game of all time. I strongly recommend, if anybody actually has a Nintendo Wii, to go ahead and buy Devil's Own and see how low Tonobu Itagaki fell from being this awesome guy who's well respected and everybody loved, and then it's like, he released that piece of crap? Ugh. I'm surprised you don't know who Tonobu Itagaki. Everybody knows who he is, man, because all the Ninja Gaiden games he did, and then also the DOA games, the DOA Volleyball 1 and 2, and then He had nothing to do with 3 because he was already expelled by then. But 3 didn't get released.
So yeah, I played the original. I'm sorry, I should say the first Ninja Gaiden that came out on the Xbox. And that was about it for my experience. I maybe played like one Dead or Alive, but I wasn't so enthralled with the series that I read into everything that went into
Did
them.
you play the one that had Halo? It had Master Chief. I think that's number 4, if I'm correct. Okay.
No, definitely not. Because the one I played, obviously I remembered Ryu Hayabusa being in the game. But that was about it. I think maybe I played Dead or Alive 2 or something like that.
And the dude loves
But
Aerosmith, by the way, because like almost every soundtrack had Aerosmith tracks in it.
Yeah, sometimes there's a Japanese developer who gets completely infatuated with an American rock band and has to have everything in it. Look what Hideo Kojima's done with all of his music. It's like he has his niche category of people he likes to put in his games.
I would have never heard that song from Garbage, Ordinary People, if it wasn't for Hideo Kojima doing that trailer with it. And I actually added that to my playlist, man. Every now and then when I do like a 90s listen playthrough on my YouTube music, I have that in my rotation, and I love that song so much. And it makes me think of Metal Gear Solid. I don't think of anything else but Metal Gear Solid.
Which isn't a bad thing to think of. Kalai, you got any other games you found?
Do. Yeah, I do. And I can't believe that you didn't think of this one either. Fallout 76.
But they made a lot of corrections. Well,
no, because she's right. It fell flat at first because Todd Howard promised 16 times more detail.
Savior, our Lord and Savior.
Oh, he ain't lording or saving anything. Fallout 76 definitely had it started with an oomph as opposed to a bang, because it was the problem with it going in, all the leaks coming out. Everybody was saying, "Oh, Fallout 76, it's being leaked that it's a multiplayer game." And there was a specific editor in Kotaku. I don't think it was Jason Schreier. I think it was somebody else. Maybe it was Schreier. And they came out and said, it's not going to be what you think it is. And everybody just kind of dismissed that. They're like, "Oh no, it's going to be great. It's Fallout, but multiplayer. This is what we want." And it wasn't what people wanted. They wanted NPCs. They wanted stories being in there. They didn't want the only other people they're seeing in the game to be other players. And the bugs in the game, the nothing to do for miles in the game was pretty sad. Kala, you and I tried to play a little bit of it when we started, and we fell off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Thomas, you do any Fallout 76?
I actually downloaded it when it was free for the PlayStation Plus membership. It was one of their things that was free, and of course it's still free for people that have the Xbox Pass. So if you have the Xbox Pass, you can download it currently still for free. I only spent maybe 2 hours in it. Someone said I didn't give it a fair review, but I'm not a big Fallout guy, man. For some reason, I loved Rage 1 and 2, especially Rage 1. I thought Rage 1 was the perfect climax to like a Mad Max style game from Bethesda, even though it's not from him. It's from the id guys, or the ID guys, whichever you want to call them.
Yep.
And I love that game so much. And I've tried to get into Fallout, because people say, "Man, Fallout New Vegas is the greatest game ever," or Fallout 3 is the greatest game ever. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't like that the hit and miss, like that, like the Outer Rim or Outer Limits? What was it called? Outer
Limits.
I love that game. I absolutely adore and love that game, and I can't wait for Starfield to come out, because I think Starfield's going to be amazing.
You would like Fallout New Vegas.
Well, I played Fallout New Vegas, and the thing is, there's some things I like about it and some things I don't like about it. But Fallout 3, I just didn't like some of the dialogues. I ended up killing people who had key story missions, and so I was wandering around aimlessly. So maybe if I can go back in time, or if they redo it with today's graphics and whatnot. But I love Outer Limits, and if no one's never played that game, give it a try, man. It is super, super awesome. Thank you, Kalai, for saying the name of that game, because that's a really good game. Great dialogue.
Yeah, and what made Fallout 76 so funny is how far flat it felt. That remember they were giving it away with just about everything. You could walk into a GameStop and buy like Mario.
I'm fairly certain you could walk into like a Kroger's and they're like, "Oh, you buy this gallon of milk? Here's Fallout 76." I don't want
If
this.
that touches my milk, I will kill you.
I upgraded my I upgraded my Xbox one day to like a better Xbox, and I was like, oh, I'm getting a deal on it, and I'm getting Fallout 76 for free. And Jim's like, well, you don't need that game. I'm like, I know, but if I get one without the game, it's $50 more expensive.
They did that with computer memory as well, and that was Battlefield 4. I'm sorry, not 4. 2042. All right, so that's what I'm adding to this list. Battlefield 2042.
Is now only $5, by the way, at most retail places.
Yeah, still not worth it.
The one thing I hate about that game more than anything is they have no freaking guns, man. Absolutely no guns. And then you can't upgrade hardly any guns. And it's like, there's not even a good paywall behind it, man. I don't know what they were thinking. But again, were they Swedish? I think the team is Swedish, and that may be the problem. Is there a bunch of Swedes? And
here's, for the record, we here at Loot Bros like Swedish people, maybe just not the developers of Battlefield 2042.
I like the women, they're unbelievably beautiful.
And their meatballs.
And their meatballs. IKEA. So here's my take on that. Battlefield Bad Company 2 was freaking awesome. The destruction, the multiplayer, it was amazing. Battlefield 3, great. Brought up-to-date weapons, brought some more environmental destructions. Battlefield 4, another great entry to the series. So I didn't play any of the single-player games, but yes. And especially Bad Company 2 had a great story. But Battlefield 4 really had a lot going for it. Battlefield 1 started to pull away, was doing the retro futuristic thing. Battlefield 5, same thing. Battlefield 2042, when it got announced, everybody was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to the future. And then I sat around and I really stared at the title for a long time and I said, oh shit, 2042, not 2142. This is going to be dog shit.
The future was quite blink.
Yeah, it was horrible. Because when I thought what they were doing was Battlefield 2141, which was a futuristic game with mechs and hover tanks and Titan airships. And it was amazing. And I was like, oh, that's what we want. We want to go back to the future and play the game. And when everybody saw the title 2042, they said, oh, this is going to be cool. They added nothing. They added Boston Dynamics robots.
My biggest complaint, and someone basically said that's not a real complaint, but I swear this is a real complaint. Why do you have a four-wheeler, okay, and it doesn't have like any armor on it or like some type of like ballistic gear to keep people from shooting you off that four-wheeler? If this is 2042, wouldn't you have like any type of armor, like maybe some kinetic armor or like some type of shield or some laser armor, anything?
So they're trying to copy Halo's Mongoose, not realizing that Spartans have 2 tons of armor on them and they don't need armor on a Mongoose.
But that was the most disappointing thing for me, was like, why is it just a normal? So in the future, mind you, we're still riding the same broke ass four-wheelers we're riding today.
All right. I think Kalai said we're coming up on our time limit and we need to somehow coordinate Zach coming in and killing the feed. So, Thomas, you got one more you want to throw in?
The only other game I can think of would be like PlayStation 3 games and a couple of PlayStation 2 games. I just, to me, there's too many to kind of go on to, other than just saying a lot of pay-to-play games that don't need to be pay-to-play games. I just stop it already, people. I mean, why is a Frozen game a pay-to-play game? So the Frozen, have you played the Frozen puzzle game? Okay.
No.
Well, I have a young child, and she happened to see it when she was just rooting through games. She's like, "Daddy, I want to play this game." So we get it, and so it's more or less it's like the Bejewel or whatever it is, and then like there's a bunch of hidden kind of stuff. Thank God she don't have access to my password, or she would probably spend a ton of money. But I just feel was it the one that Platinum did, the die whatever it was with the skeleton or whatever. It's like, stop with the pay to play games. Just make a game that's good that people want to play, and people want to play it, they'll give you their money and buy the DLC. Rather than like, oh, we're gonna make it free, but guess what? You will suck really, really, really bad unless you put in 250 hours because you're a cheap ass and won't buy the extras. Even then, with you putting all this stuff, you still suck compared to a guy who basically paid like the $20 or $30. And that's just no. I understand that it's a way to keep vampires sucking the life out of you, but can we just do something better? I mean, do we love the art of games, or just all we now love is just the money of what it brings you? I mean, can real artists all get together and say, you know what, let's just take a chance, make something that people actually want and want to play? Like, name one good vampire game out there. We're hoping this one for the Xbox is going to be good, but you know what I'd like to see come back? I'd like to see Legacy of Kain make a comeback.
Name one good vampire game. Kalai?
Vampire Survivors.
Boom. With that, you want to bring us home?
Me?
Yeah. You're the official host.
I am the official host. I've got nothing else. So unless you have anything else, I'll land this plane.
Thomas, appreciate you coming on, man.
Yes, we do. We really do appreciate you coming on.
Well, I thank you guys every time that you allow me to come on, because I'm a little, a bit of a wild card. And what I mean by that is that, sometimes I don't know what I'm going to say. I was really not as well prepared as I should have been for this one, so I apologize to the listeners, and I apologize to all the people I've worked with tonight.
No apologies necessary.
But
you were awesome. I mean, if you're talking about,
thank you for allowing me to come onto your show on a constant, not even on a constant, well, I guess a constant basis. So again, to all the listeners or the people, if we put this to video or whatever, I appreciate you letting me come into your room or your car or wherever you're listening at, and thank you always for having me on. I know it sounds like I'm a kiss ass. Not being a kiss ass, I'm just very gracious for the fact that I get the opportunity to talk about something that I love so much and be around people who love gaming as much as I do. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, anytime. We love having you. So thank you, Matt. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you, Zach, for editing, because I'm assuming that's he's doing it. He's not here to say no. If you like our show, check out our other shows. Me and Matt, we are trying to get the our Nintendo podcast going. Every time somebody who doesn't show up to this show wants to record, and then the next thing you know, he can't record. So I don't know when we're going to record again, because this weekend I'm not here. Next weekend Matt's not here. So, but hey, we're going to do it.
Happy birthday to you, by the way, and congratulations for seeing another year.
Yeah, thank you. Check out the 2286. We are also posting this on, of course, the YouTube. Go subscribe to our YouTube, especially for Daryl. He's having some contest with his child, and I think he's winning now, and he wants to obviously crush her. Also, Zach, I believe, is doing Twitch, so you can check out his Twitch channel. I'm also going to go ahead and promote Matt's wife's channel, Veronica Veranza Game. She also is doing Twitch.
Gamer
Veranza. Don't tell her. I know she doesn't listen. But yeah. All right. Guys, thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Loop.
Peace out.
This is the way.
You are here because the outside world rejects you. This is your family. I am your father.
Staring back at you, you wish the image was clearer. Always remember who you are. Why would you stop now when you come this far? What do you see when you look in the mirror? Staring back at you, you wish the image was clearer. In a life this hard, you've come so far. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. How do you feel when you look at yourself? When is the last time you was even real with yourself? You used to stand for so much, have a firm grasp, now you've gotten out of touch. I just wanna spend a little bit for the lost and I heard everything that I say, you can use it every day. Never let nobody ever hold you down in a world full of lies where the truth's not found. It's secrets when you make your choice, open your mouth and use your voice. You come so far, don't turn back now. You are loved without a doubt. I see the pain and all the hurt, I know the struggle's real. A broken heart full of pain seems like it never heals. Don't quit, this is it, you gotta move on. Check yourself before you wind up all alone. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Who was staring back at you? You wish the image was clearer. Always remember who you are. Why would you stop now when you come this far? What do you see when you look in the mirror? Who was staring back at you? You wish the image was clearer. In a life this hard, you've come so far. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. I don't need a drum beat to get my point across. You don't remember who you are, just think about the cross. I'm at a loss to know that we have come so far.